Hi everyone, just sort of making a video to show all of you guys in the gecko land how I do things and sort of how my setup. I'm just getting into the breeding side of leopard geckos. I've been keeping them for about 3 years now. This will be my first year of breeding, and just sort of hoping to progress from there. Um, so I'll get on with showing you my setups and how I do things over here. So as you can see now, this is a 3-foot viv divided into two. There is my male blazing blizzard. His setup's fairly basic, just a hide, heat map, water dish. There's a little plant up there, just as a little bit of a space filler, if you like. Now I know you're all going to say he should have a humid hide. He does have a humid hide, but I put that in there when he sheds. I put it in about a week before he goes into his shedding. And his shedding's fairly regular. It's sort of once every 2 to 3 weeks, depending on how much he's eaten before then. And also, just sort of his nature and how he's going to shed. He's 2 this year. He's just getting ready to breed. I've got to try and get my other female to ovulate, and then I can put them together and maybe to produce some eggs. But yeah, that's his setup. Over here is my female normal. I recently purchased her from a pet store known as Pets at Home. Anyone else who's in Britain will know of Pets at Home. But yeah, I purchased her from there. She was housed with a super hypotenderine character male, who unfortunately they weren't aware that how easy they were to breed. And of course she ended up breeding with this super hypotenderine male, and when I bought her, I didn't notice this once I'd brought her home. It was only the next couple of days that I noticed that she had eggs and she was going to lay them within the sort of within that week. She did produce eggs. I bought her in November, and she's produced 3 clutches, and only one has survived up till now. The rest just sort of were empty. I candled them, they were yellow, there was nothing going on inside, but there is one that is developing and should be hatching within the next 3 to 4 weeks. So I'm getting rather excited about that. It'll be my first hatchling. She's really underweight at the moment, and she bred at a very young age, which wasn't really, it wasn't fair on her system. She's very skittish, but she's just under there. She'll probably go and scoot out somewhere. She's very thin and very underweight. I am trying to fatten her up. And she has just started eating. But there's not a great lot that I can do. I mean, she has a calcium, a food dish and a water dish, and the heat's just perfect. There's like a 90-degree hotspot on this side, and then it's just a cold side on there. Well, that's her little setup. We'll jump across. This is my homemade incubator. This is a polystyrene box often used for shipping fish or sort of other live animals. I have a thermometer that's connected into there, letting me so I can sort of get a good idea of what the temps are. The egg box is in there. It's just incubating. You can just about see it. But that should be, like I say, it should be hatching in the next 3 to 4 weeks. We jump across now to my Yemen chameleon. He's 2. Had him since he was 3 weeks old. Definitely my pride and joy. He has his UV light, heat light. He has a whole range of plants sort of hung up on the back. He has a couple of branches that are screwed in to the sides. He's got all his vents. He has one there, one there. He has another 2 in the back corner and another 2 on the front on the front end of the vivarium. He's got his mealworm dish and his curly kale dish. He gets both of them on a 2-week basis, but then throughout until that 2 weeks has come, he has either or nothing. So I do give him the break. He has a real ficus in there. He very rarely eats from it. Only if I don't feed him curly kale for so long, then he'll start eating it. But that's his setup. Recently, in the last couple of days, I built my own reptile wreck using these pieces of wood that I painted white so they would sort of match the tubs. As you can see, the shelves are the lids from the tubs. It's not exactly a closing, locking fit, but they're too high for a gecko to climb, plus they have smooth sides, so the geckos can't climb out unless there was, say, a rock that was up against the side or whatever. At the moment, I'm just using them to store things. I have some heat cable arriving in the week, and that should then heat the whole rack. Once I've got that sorted, I'll be looking to purchase some more geckos and get this breeding plan sort of up and running, if you will. In this bottom tub, I have my female Eclipse. She's in there. There is a heat strip at the moment that runs right the way through the middle, all the way through here. As you can see, she has a very strong feeding response and is always on the lookout for food. It goes all the way through and heats this cave. This sort of goes on the heat from above the chameleon's vivarium. The heat just sort of transfers up, if you like. And then she has just basic. She gets hand fed just because she's a very overzealous female. She loves her food and she gets quite excited over food. She just has paper towel, water dish, hide, humid hide. She's happy in there. She's fine. Not had any problems. She was in the larger section of the 2 vivs that I showed you before. But the other viv is a lot warmer, so I thought my thinner female would benefit from being in there. She might respond to eating more, which she has. And she's okay in here. She has a strong feeding response anyway. She's a nice chunky weight, and she's active, and she's just happy. She'll be pleased in any setup, to be honest. She's been in 3 different setups and enjoyed it. But that's her little setup. There's a rack, and this rack has 4 tubs going all the way up. It's about 3 foot 3 inches. I also have another tub up here. I'm not sure what I will do with it just yet, but at the moment it's just for storage. I did have a gecko in there, the one that was in the viv. She was in here, but it wasn't. I wasn't able to get it to the temperatures that would have triggered her to eat more. So at the moment she's over there in the warmer one. This I may put another heat mat in and go and get and use it for babies. I haven't quite thought that far ahead just yet, but like I say, as of for now, that is just a storage box. So there's my rack for feeding. As far as feeding goes, I have this sort of plastic drawers set. On the top there are waxworms. I always put them in this little storage box with holes poked in on the top and the sides. In there is oats. The waxworms are sort of just thriving off that. In here there is washed vermiculite. I've washed it out, dried it out, and it's just ready to be used. All I've got to do is sort of put it in a tub, use it for incubating babies, and all I've got to do is just add water. In here is my mealworm colony. They're in about an inch of oats, and there is some egg crate in there, just purely just for somewhere to hide, if you like. There is a good couple of hundred in here. I'm not sure exactly the numbers, but there is too many in this tub than what it should be able to hold. But you know, it's fine. I've got a good supply of food in here. I have perlite. As you can see, there's a lot more perlite than vermiculite. I very rarely use perlite, but I suppose I will only use it when the vermiculite runs out. And like I say, I've washed both of them, vermiculite and the perlite. Perlite took a lot longer to dry out, just because there was more of it. But it's nice and clean. There's not much dust off it. I mean, I don't know if you can see any now, but there's not a great deal of dust that comes off that. I've had that for quite a while. In here is this is basically everything that the mealworms don't eat, because every 6 to 8 months I sift my mealworm tub for any frass, sift it through, and just get any leftover bits of food. They go into here. This is basically leftover bits of food. There's the frass, you know, the mealworm poop, if you like. This is filled with thousands and thousands of tiny little baby mealworms. They're going to obviously take a while to grow and develop. Once I start seeing some that are of a good size, I will move them up into the adult mealworm drawer that they can then be fed off. Now the way I breed my mealworms is up in this cupboard here. I have a tub, ice cream tub, that houses all of my beetles. It's been a while since I've checked on these actually, but there's good food for them. Some of them are starting to die off because just because of old age, I suppose. I've had them a while, but in there is oats for them to eat and lay their eggs in. They've got egg crates to sort of hide on and just climb on. But all I do is I leave them in there, leave them to breed and lay eggs. The eggs will fall more or less to the bottom of the tub. Then every 2 or 3 months I sift it through and get any eggs out, and I sift it into the baby drawer. I sift it into here, and any of the larger pieces just get chucked back and could be sort of recycled. And then I've got a constant supply of food. I don't know why they're all climbing over this one corner. But yeah, that's how I house all my beetles. I'll have to go back later and pick out all of the dead ones and the dying ones and sort of throw them away. And, I mean, I've got some more pupas that will develop into beetles in about 2 or 3 weeks. So I've just got to wait. I'll clean all this out and get this all refreshed again. I have just finished cleaning all of my reptiles. On every second Sunday, I clean all of my reptiles, whether it's dirty or not, just to sort of keep on top of things, that nothing sort of gets falling behind. So yeah, thank you for watching. Comment, rate and subscribe. But yeah, thanks for watching.